Hi guys, Nate Kuba from Nameless Armament here, and today we're going to be covering the installation of the Kaminari 2.0 compensator for 9mm pistols. So the Kaminari 2.0 compensator was a follow-up to the original design that we released last year. And basically what we did was we took some of the things that we learned from the original design and some of the features and some of the things that some of our customers had requested and tried to best integrate those into the new design. So some of the things that you guys will find in the 2.0 version is that it's got a larger baffle wall, which is going to help generate more force to help mitigate recoil under your course of fire. In addition to that, it uses two 8/32 stainless steel set screws now, as opposed to the older 6/32 set screws that were used. Basically what this is going to do is add a more secure way of mounting it to your barrel. In addition to that, we've also improved the design of the Kaminari 2.0. You guys can see on the bottom here we have a relief cut for some of the guide rods out there. We've improved the design to be more compatible with a wider range of pistols on the market. So the original design was only compatible with the M&P series of pistols. The new design is actually compatible with a wider range of pistols on the market. The ones that we have tested and confirmed this with are the Glock pattern pistols in 9mm, so that being your 19s, 17s, 26s, 43s, and so forth. Your M&P pattern pistols, of course, to include the M&P Shield, and of course all your variants within the 9mm range. In addition to that, we've also tested it, and it is compatible with the FN509 and the CZ-P10C. So that's not to say that it won't fit other pistols out there on the market, but these are the ones that we have confirmed that they work with. And so, you know, we really don't want to put out information there saying, yeah, I'll work with brand whatever. And then you guys purchase this from us and find out that's not the case. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the installation of the Kaminari 2.0 compensator. So first things first, so what you guys will find is that inside the package there are a variety of parts that are included to help aid the installation of the Kaminari 2.0. So let's go ahead and go over that real quick. There are two small diameter O-rings along with one larger diameter clear O-ring. And basically what these are, guys, is to help you guys time the installation of the compensator whenever you guys are initially installing it. These are not required. They do not provide the primary method of retaining the compensator on the barrel. They are just there to help you guys time the compensator onto the muzzle of your chosen pistol. Additionally, what you guys will find is that there are two 8/32 stainless steel set screws that are 8/32 by 1/4 inch long, so 832 by 0.25. The reason why we chose this is because the larger diameter is going to help you guys clamp that compensator down to your muzzle more securely, as well as being able to be easily sourced in case you guys ever misplace these or for some reason you guys ever lose one of them. You guys should be able to go down to the local hardware store and find a replacement, no problem. Lastly, you will find there is a 5/64 Allen wrench included and the Kaminari compensator in your choice of engraving. We do offer this in two current patterns. You'll notice one of them is the Oni engraving on the bottom, as well as a limited edition of the Circle Game engraved Kaminari comp. Alright, to begin installation, we're going to go ahead and take our pistol. We're going to go ahead and take the magazine out, open it, make sure that the gun is safe and clear, which in this case it is. And then at that point, we're going to go ahead and remove the slide off the firearm. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the guide rod. And the reason why we want to remove the guide rod is because on some firearms, the guide rod will actually protrude from the front of the slide and may interfere with the installation of the compensator. A good example of that is like on this Glock 17, you guys can see that the guide rod protrudes out the front, which would prohibit the compensator from actually threading down all the way like it's supposed to. So now that we have the slide off, we're going to go ahead and remove the guide rod out of there, set that off to the side, and basically we are ready for installation. Alright, once we have the slide stripped down basically to this point here, the only thing additional you'll need to what's included in the kit is a bottle of blue Loctite. And blue Loctite is what we recommend. We don't recommend you guys use red or Roxette or anything like that. The only place that we're going to be applying this is to the threads of the set screws themselves. We don't recommend applying it to the threads of the barrel, especially if you're using your pistol in a suppressed application or plan to, just because we like to keep as much crap off the threads of the barrel itself as we can. And again, it's not really needed, so blue Loctite should work just fine. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and figure out if we need to use one of these O-rings. Now again, to reiterate, the O-rings are only used primarily for the installation of the compensator. They are not primarily used for retaining the compensator on the muzzle of your pistol. So the biggest thing is if you need to use one of them, by all means go for it. That's just going to aid with that compensator being easier to install. But if you end up finding that you can't find the right size or combination of sizes, because you can stack those to achieve a squeeze on them to make installation a little bit easier, then by all means you don't have to put any of them on there. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and take the small one first and slip that around the threads of the barrel. And then we're going to go ahead and take our compensator and see if we can thread that down to where it starts to squeeze that O-ring and it's nice and close to the slide. Now in this case, this O-ring has started to squeeze already, so you can see there's like a little bit of resistance there whenever I go to thread that any further. And so I'm going to continue to thread that down, and it's squeezing that O-ring and it's providing a little bit of resistance. And the main reason why we want to do that is because when you go to install the set screws, that O-ring is just going to help prevent that compensator from shifting on you and then coming out of alignment with the top of the slide. So after that's done, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the front of the slide and try and make sure that I get that as square with the compensator as I possibly can. So just kind of moving it around right there. I'm pretty happy with that. So at this point, I've leveled off the top of the comp with the top of the slide, and I'm pretty happy with the alignment. So that should be good. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take my 8/32 set screws and my blue Loctite and apply a little bit of Loctite to the end of the set screw. Now you don't want to apply a whole bunch of it. Basically a couple little drops around the front end of that will do just fine. So typically that right there should be just good enough. And we'll go ahead and take that set screw and install it into the comp. And I'm just going to run it down finger tight at first until I feel it actually touch the barrel. So right there, that should be good. And then I'm going to take my second set screw and do the same thing. That should be good enough right there. And same thing, run it down finger tight. Now at this point, what I want to do is one more final check before I crank down on it, just to make sure that that compensator is nice and square with the top of the slide. And in this case it is, so I'm pretty happy with that. So then what I'm going to do is take those set screws and alternatively tighten them down. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit on that one, a little bit tighter on that one, and then take this guy, crank it the rest of the way down, and take this one and tighten it the rest of the way down. Now if you did everything right, you should be able to take a look at the front of your muzzle and nothing should have changed. Now one thing to kind of go over as far as the O-rings are concerned, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but you can use one of those O-rings, you can use a couple of them, or a combination of all three if you need to. Basically, like I said guys, they're just providing a little bit of resistance to prevent that comp from shifting during installation. Alright, so now that that's installed and I'm pretty happy with how that looks, I'm going to go ahead and take my guide rod, reinstall it, and then reinstall the slide of the pistol back on the frame, and that's it. Now one thing I do want to mention is that on the pistols, when you install them guys, it's a good idea to give these things 24 hours to allow that Loctite to cure, because you don't want that thing backing out on you and that compensator shifting. In some cases it can actually clock and then come in contact with the front of your frame during recoil, which can cause frame damage, which obviously would definitely not be an ideal scenario. So definitely let that stuff cure up real quick before you go out to the range and shoot it. Alrighty guys, so that just about wraps up the installation of the Kaminari 2.0 compensator on hopefully your pistol. And we hope that you guys found this video informative. Now one of the last things I do want to talk about is tuning for the compensator. Now again, your compensator may or may not require the change of the recoil spring, and that's going to be very dependent on your firearm that you're shooting and the ammunition that you choose to shoot. So one of the reasons why a compensator may require or dictate a change to the recoil spring assembly is because the compensator is generating a force in the opposite direction of slide travel, and the slide has to move rearwards in order to unlock the barrel to cycle and pick up the next round. So if we make the barrel harder to unlock, the only way we can kind of combat that is by reducing the recoil spring assembly weight. So one of the things that we recommend is that on your pistols guys, whenever you install a compensator, and this doesn't matter who it is, you make sure and you test it with a wide variety of ammunition that you plan on using. So if you shoot 115s at the range and you shoot 124 plus Ps for defense, by all means please test this compensator or your pistol with that ammunition to make sure that you thoroughly vet it and that that pistol's not going to let you down whenever it comes time to hopefully, and I hope this never happens, use this in a self-defense scenario. So that being said, here are some starting points that we kind of found, and then these are kind of things that you guys can kind of start with and then play around with from there. Recoil spring assemblies, guys, as far as the springs themselves, are really inexpensive. They're not something that's going to be anything that breaks the bank. And so what we found is that on the M&P pattern pistols, a 13-pound recoil spring is probably what's going to be best suited for the most reliable function with the widest range of ammunition out there. We've tested basically everything from the OEM spring weight all the way down to a 11, and a 13 yields what we feel is the best performance out of the pistol with the compensator with the widest range of ammunition. With the 13-pound recoil spring and over several thousand rounds of testing through this guy alone, I have yet to have a malfunction running the compensator. So as far as on an M&P, guys, that's what we would recommend, is a 13-pound recoil spring. On the other pattern pistols that we have tested with, so in other words, the Glock pattern pistols, the FN509 as well as the CCP10C, we recommend a 15-pound recoil spring, and we feel that that is going to be what best works with those pistols in order to provide the most reliable function with the widest range of ammunition. So just kind of a starting place, guys. That's definitely something I would recommend you guys pick up a couple in a different ranges as far as spring weight go, and then go ahead and see what works best for you. As far as which manufacturer recoil spring to go with, we highly recommend ISMI. That's the company that we've used primarily in product testing for us, and we have found really good results with those guys. So if you guys are looking for recoil spring options, definitely check them out. The recoil spring assemblies, guys, as far as if you only need the springs, really aren't that expensive. That's one of the nice things about your M&P pattern pistols, is that the recoil spring is able to be disassembled, and you can just change the spring out on that and kind of play with the tuning on it. As far as Glocks, you know, if you need to pick up a recoil guide rod in order to change your recoil spring weight, they're really not all that expensive. You can pretty much find them online from anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks. So, you know, the springs themselves run around 10 bucks. So, you know, overall, not a lot of money to ensure that the pistol is still going to be as reliable as you need it to be should it come down to you defending your life with it. Alright guys, so that just about wraps up this video. We appreciate your guys' support as always, and thank you so much for your continued business. If you guys still have any questions that we haven't answered here, by all means, please feel free to reach out on our email address at namelessarms@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media on Facebook and Instagram at namelessarms. So again, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Stay safe on the range, and we'll talk to you guys later.